We have breaking news this morning. In the last 30 minutes, we learned a person escaped a police search in Spokane Valley. Crews blocked off the road leading up to the Upriver Hydroelectric Dam and the Spokane Police Academy, but that has reopened now. I'm Nicole Hernandez.
And I'm Channing Curtis. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones was actually at the scene before police left. So Brandon, can you tell us exactly what happened this morning?
Yeah, well, not too long ago, there was law enforcement out here. Several vehicles were searching for a suspect that I'm told was after Spokane Valley Police Department tried to stop a car, and then that suspect eventually ended up going on the run. They came right over here. This is near Feltsfield, and then also the river is not too far away as well. But they were out here searching for him. There was a drone in the sky, and ultimately they were out here for maybe an hour or two before disbanding, and law enforcement told me that a suspect wasn't found, but there isn't a belief that there is any particular threat to the community over here. We're expected to get some type of update later in the day, and then once we get that information, we'll keep you informed as well. But for now, reporting live in Spokane Valley, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
This morning, firefighters went to a house fire out in Hilliard. They were able to get the fire out, but we're still waiting to hear what caused the fire and if anybody was hurt. We'll, of course, continue to keep you updated here on Up with KREM.
It's 6:02 and weather-wise today will feel almost identical to yesterday. Sunshine to start the day, a mild start, and a pretty warm finish. Not terribly hot just yet. That weather is still a couple days away. Looking at current temperatures either in the 60s or 50s. At 59, that's our low temperature for the day in Spokane. But in Coeur d'Alene, you're already warming up. 64 at the moment. Still one spot in the 70s, and that's Pomeroy at 70 degrees. That's been the coldest it's been all morning long so far. And look at that hour-by-hour forecast. Nothing but sunshine today. Temperatures still holding steady in the mid to upper 80s across the inland northwest. A few 90s in central Washington. Again, very similar to what we had yesterday, but the high heat, that is on the way for these next 3 days.
At this hour, all evacuations have been dropped for a fire burning near Rock Lake and the town of Ewan.
So this is the Wagner Road fire we're talking about. It burned on both sides of Highway 23, shutting down the road last night, but since the road has reopened. Fire crews say the fire started yesterday afternoon. So far, it's burned about 1,200 acres and is 0% contained. The fire has not burned any buildings, and crews don't think it will. Even so, though, the Whitman County Sheriff's Office is asking people living around the area to stay alert of the fire danger. Investigators, though, are still working to figure out what exactly sparked this fire.
Meanwhile, the Grant County Sheriff's Office says a wildfire burning near Quincy is no longer threatening homes. People living in Trinidad and Crescent Bar were forced to evacuate Monday when this fire started. Evacuation orders have now been lowered to level 1. This fire has burned about 2,400 acres and is 30% contained. This morning, though, crews are still working to strengthen those containment lines.
The University of Idaho is delaying their plans to tear down the house where 4 University of Idaho students were killed last year.
So prosecutors and the defense team have not objected to having it torn down, but families of the victims did. They feel it should be left alone until after the trial is over. The attorney for one of the families says that the home is the largest piece of evidence in the entire case.
There's any evidence that's brought up in trial that, has to do with vantage points or how you can hear something or how you can see something or entry points or exit points.
Now, the property owner donated the home to the university following the murders. Last month, the university told KREM 2 that they plan to have the house demolished by the start of the fall semester. They said leveling the house will be healing for students, the Moscow community, and the victims' loved ones. But now the university says that demolition won't happen until at least October, when the suspect, Brian Koberger, is expected to go on trial. The Spokane Public Schools Board has approved a new name for the new downtown stadium.
So board members unanimously voted to make the name One Spokane. It's now the official new name for the downtown stadium. The board has gone through the naming process a few different times now. Back in April, the Public Facilities District voted to call the new stadium the North Bank Stadium, presented by the Kalispel Tribe of Indians. But before they could really consider that name, they had to consult with local tribes.
We want to make sure that we're really thoughtful and intentional, and we're being as inclusive as possible with all members of our community on what that really important symbolic name will ultimately reflect.
After more meetings and discussions, the Kalispell Tribe of Indians decided they did not support having their name on the stadium. Now this morning, there may be a new name, but there's still no sponsor. So the Spokane Public Facilities District has to approve a sponsor name before the stadium is done this fall.
6:06 right now. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. The man arrested in an 8-hour standoff with Spokane police made his first court appearance yesterday. 41-year-old Charleston Harper was arrested after police say he barricaded himself outside of the DSHS building with a knife on Monday. Harper was brought to court under a drag order, which means the defendant is physically forced to appear in court, and in this case, strapped to the chair. He is charged with second-degree assault, resisting arrest, and obstructing an officer. The Kootenai County Sheriff is sounding off the alarm about the lack of law enforcement presence in Spirit Lake. According to our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press, the Spirit Lake Police Department only has 1 police officer, leaving 8 open positions, including police chief. The Spirit Lake City Council is now going to hold a workshop with the sheriff to have deputies patrol the city while the department is getting back to full staffing levels. A Post Falls man was killed in a crash on I-90 yesterday. Idaho State Patrol says the 58-year-old man was driving west on I-90 when he crashed into a concrete bridge retaining wall. The man was not wearing a seatbelt. And a Coeur d'Alene man has been charged with murder from a 2011 cold case in Alaska. 36-year-old Keenan Keys is accused of shooting and killing an Alaska man in his home. Now, a grand jury indicted Keys last month. He's currently serving a 15-year prison sentence in Idaho for shooting at his wife and child last August. Right now, several law enforcement agencies are increasing traffic safety patrols in an effort to decrease motorcycle deaths in our state. The patrols will take place through July 23rd and will be focused in 6 counties throughout the state, including Spokane County. From 2018 to 2022, motorcycles made up 3% of registered vehicles in the state, but accounted for 16% of all traffic deaths. And that's a look at your morning rush.
Weather-wise today, we'll be once again keeping an eye to our north for any kind of rain or thunderstorms near the Canadian border. Saw a bit of that activity yesterday, though today that chance is even lower yet. Not quite to 0%, and even if you look closely on Doppler radar, there are a couple radar returns even as of this hour. Most of it is over some of the mountains of far northeastern Washington and northern Idaho. Very minor stuff, but just indicating that there's still a little bit of cloud cover, a little bit of energy, maybe a little bit of moisture in the atmosphere to be used. At this hour, kind of an anomaly though, but we'll keep an eye up towards the Canadian border for any rain or storms today. Otherwise, just looking at another sunny and fairly warm, almost hot day, still in the 80s for now, but 90s will be soon on the way starting tomorrow.
Heat waves are hitting parts of the country, and experts are warning there's a limit to the amount of heat a human's body can withstand. Coming up in the next 3 minutes, how some parts of the world are fast approaching that limit. But before we go, we have Do Your Wake Up Call. Today is National French Fry Day. So this morning we're asking, what restaurant do you think has the best French fries in town? We've got a bunch of answers. Red Robin, always solid, 100% agree. Five Guys, agree because of the quantity. Yep. Oh, Wendy's. We haven't even talked about Wendy's this morning.
We didn't even get to Wendy's.
Wendy's is so good.
Great one. That's a great one.
Goodness. And then the important part of this is they have to have good ranch also. So I'm always for a good Red Robin ranch. Five Guys does not have ranch, so it really knocks them down. I don't know. All right. Make sure you keep texting us what your favorite French fries are around the Inland Northwest. The number is 509-448-2000, or you can use the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media.